Hi guys, welcome to today's weighing video. We're going to start off with Isla. Let's get her on that piece of wood. Off you go. Is she going to go? There you go. So the reason I'm doing it this way, I'm actually going around each one of those tanks and then telling you their weights, is because I weighed them last night, but I had to move the cat out of my room and she meowed the entire time outside my door. So if I'm going to reshoot it, she is still in my room right now, but obviously when the geckos are in their cage, she's pretty much asleep, so she's not going to bother them. So basically I'm not weighing Isla because she very recently went to the vets and she was 39 grams, and so we already know that. But I thought I'd start off with her because on that video, I think I was so excited that she's going to be fine and that she's not going to die or she's not going to have to be going through some high risk operation, that maybe I forgot to mention that I have never bred any of my geckos before, nor do I even own a male crested gecko. And you know, there are some people who jump to conclusions and try to criticise me. But yeah, if you actually watch my videos you'll know this. And so what happened with Isla and why she carried these eggs is completely naturally occurred, nothing to do with what I have done or anything or like encouraged. It just happened. And there was a little poll on that video and a lot of you guys thought she had laid the eggs or even eaten the eggs. I think she's probably reabsorbed them, only because if you've ever seen a gecko after they lay an egg, they're noticeably slimmer. And I think she's still in the process of reabsorbing them. And considering her body has been stretched for the last 8 months, it's going to take a little bit of time to get back to her original slimline self. Yeah, I think she's... Oh, goodbye. But yeah, she's doing okay. I'm monitoring her. She's eating, drinking and very active, so I'm not worried about her, but I'm just happy this whole egg situation is over. So now moving on from one gecko with egg issues to another. So it's coming up to spring soon-ish, and you may know that this is the time where all my females decide to ovulate and stop eating. It's just a running thing that happens with them now. So the aim is to always get them to have a really good weight in January and February so they can afford to lose some weight during spring and summer when they decide not to eat. So as we're running up to that big milestone, I have been feeding them completely normal schedule. I have been giving them quite a varied diet. They have like Morio worms one day, the next feeding they might have waxworms, and they might have crickets, they might have mealworms. Like, I try to make something different each feeding, and I think that's starting to pay off. So last month she was 67 grams and this month she's 71. So if we can round that up and like in February be 75 grams, that'll be an ideal weight to start off the sort of ovulation season. Now for my only male, Diego. As I mentioned, he brumated over winter, so he went in his cold hide for quite a few days at a time and he wouldn't eat. And considering he's really good at retaining his weight, like he literally over like 2 months or so didn't really eat but only lost 1 gram, I wasn't too worried about him. Completely natural what was going on. And then in January he has suddenly started to sleep in his warm hide again, and he has started eating quite a lot again. And he went from 100 grams last month to 106 grams this month, which is the heaviest he's ever been. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think he's going to come out and say hello to us, but he's doing very well. So another one of my girls that go through the whole situation of ovulating and not eating is Ziggy. However, she's really, really good at retaining that weight. I don't know if it's because Gizmo actually lays her eggs, but Ziggy doesn't, but she ovulates and doesn't eat, but stays pretty much the same weight, probably only losing a gram or 2. So I'm not too worried about her weight that she starts off with. However, it is always good if it is a nice, good weight. And last month she was 80 grams and this month she is 83. So once again, if we can get her to 85 in February, I don't think I have to worry over spring and summer. She can go through her natural process of producing eggs and not eating, but hopefully it shouldn't have any sort of problem on her. Now on to my other female crested gecko. She is just in her coconut here. Everyone always asks me where the coconut hides are from. I've done a video on them. You can actually make them for like under £1. They're really, really cheap to make, so you can check that out if you like. So I'm never really worried about Lyra. She has a fantastic appetite. Everything's pretty well balanced in her tank and everything. So nothing really to worry about. I often wonder whether she's laid eggs though, because, you know, she has such a big tank and then some days she'll suddenly look slim and I'm like, But you know, they're going to be infertile, so whatever. So her weight last month was 46 grams and this month it was 44. So she lost 2 grams. So once again, that weight for a crested gecko I think is pretty ideal. And she could probably do with gaining a little bit because she has such a big head, her body can look quite slim. I mean, I'll show you some footage from her being weighed yesterday while she watches so you can actually see her. But yeah, she's doing really, really well. And probably the biggest surprise was Minnie this month. Now, she is under her hide, so let's just see her, because she needs to, like, get some UVB as well. Like, she can walk off and go in her hide if she wants, but you need to get that vitamin D3. Yeah. So, anyway, I didn't think she would have gained that much weight, and you may recall that she has been only gradually gaining weight, and it's a little bit alarming because everyone else was doing it really, really well. However, last month she was... Did you hear a light go off? That was one of my crested gecko ones. Last month she was 64 grams and this month she's 69. So Minnie is one who... She does go off her food in spring and summer. However, she doesn't ovulate quite as much as Ziggy and Gizmo. What I mean by that is Ziggy and Gizmo, you can really see the eggs, you can really tell, and they will flat out refuse food. Whereas she will sometimes refuse food, but sometimes eat it, and you can't really see her eggs that well. So she's a funny one. But she's doing well with her weight. And she really loves Morio worms, but once again, just remember, don't overfeed Morio worms. Look at her cute little face. Not many people get to see Minnie because her vivarium's in an awkward place to film. So they don't see her, and she's a really secretive gecko. But she's doing well. So I hope you've enjoyed the weighing video today. It's a little bit different because we didn't have the scales out, but we had a different type of scale. Oh my goodness, what a joke. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, and goodbye.